Hi, and welcome to the Transitional Changes Mission podcast show. This is your host, Queen Summers.
With your host, King Summers.
It is Sunday, January 10th, 2021. We have a great show tonight for all you guys and girls. So we're 10 days in 2021 and 11 days until the inauguration President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. She's no relation to the rapper T.I. You know how when you get ready to start going to another level, you got family coming all out of the woodworks. They are no relation.
Well, I can sure enough verify that. I know that ain't T.I. He's intelligent, but that ain't T.I. But yes, on this exciting show, we are talking about the new president-elect. In the election of it, or the current events of the process of him becoming into office. We also talking about on that second half, the current event of storming the Capitol.
And we'll be talking about patience. So President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris are quickly approaching the moment when they'll be able to drop elect from their titles. Both Biden and Harris are set to be sworn into their posts and an inauguration ceremony unlike any other this month. It's possible more celebrations would be planned for the summer when the threat of the pandemic might be less prevalent, perhaps near July 4th. Hopefully, things will be under control by then. The theme announced prior to the election is Our Determined Democracy, Forging a More Perfect Union. Biden and Harris's inauguration is expected to be a largely virtual affair with limited in-person ceremonies. The inaugural committee tasked with planning the event previously implored people not to travel to Washington for the inauguration.
Well, I got something to say about that. They ain't listen to not going up there to protest. But we'll give it a shot. Also, we'd like to inform everybody. With this becoming a new year, we're stepping into it. Like we stated before, we have a lot of changes. New avenues to cross, new communication bridges will be coming close to get in touch with us. I'd like to express that most of our topics will not be a full discussion about that particular topic. We will branch off the main tree, and branches coming off of that main topic will be expressed later on within this year. But keep in tune. And we love you for it, and we appreciate that for you to share us, follow us, like us, or subscribe to us.
That's right. And if this is your first time visiting Transitional Changes Mission podcast show, we would like to welcome you. And thank you so much for tuning in. Also, to all of our listeners who've been rocking with us since the day one, we thank you as well.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Yes. Washington,
Milwaukee,
DC.
Wisconsin, Chicago, Illinois, Riverside, California.
Mexico.
Everyone, we thank you so much. Now, 3 sources close to Vice President Mike Pence said he would likely make an appearance at the January 20th event in a show of support for the peaceful transition of power. On the other hand, President Trump has said that he will not attend the ceremony and will become the first living president to miss his successor's inauguration since Andrew Johnson in 1869.
Well, I guess that can give us some insight onto the 70 million loyal president people that I assume that would not show up either. But I would show up on the TV with them and watch the change. Because I think that is what is good about this whole situation. Yes, it is a lot of disagreement going on about the voting of who have been elected to be the next president, which is Joe Biden.
Right. Trump's absence will underscore how he has undermined the peaceful transfer of power by repeatedly making false claims of election fraud, baseless and reckless assertions that came to a head on January 6th, when the president encouraged his supporters to march to Capitol Hill and the mob sieged the Capitol building.
Well, I think there will be a lot more evidence that will come out of that to prove that in the near future. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask some couple of questions about it to the audience. How do you feel about Joe Biden being elected?
And while you're thinking about that answer, you can now call us at 910-985-9090. Leave your answer on our pre-recorded machine.
Or you can write an email to tcmissionspeaks@gmail.com. And we sure appreciate all the new avenues of what we got to reach out to the people. And like we said on that Trello episode, I said that the phone number is for live shows, for where you can call in when we announce that we are doing a live show. You can call in a couple of days earlier and give us your statement, or you can call on that day and be on the show with us.
We all know about Joe, but some of us, including myself, didn't know his government name was Joseph until we went to the polls. So
Joseph.
Here's some fun facts about Kamala Harris, because I really didn't know much about her. She was the first person of color to be elected district attorney of San Francisco. Her mother was a doctor whose work advanced breast cancer research.
Wow.
She is the first HBCU, congratulations to all the HBCUs,
Yes.
grad to be elected vice president. She is the only second black woman to be an American senator.
So, wow, that breaks a lot of barriers right there. She's the first elected senator and the first VP.
She is the first Asian American person to be elected vice president. And in 2013, she was one of Time's 100 most influential people. And get this, Nancy Pelosi wrote the article.
Wow. All connections. Connect the dots.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you tuning in again to this exciting show to get us ready for the new president. And I'm asking these series of questions. We pray that it will change the narrative of the concept of how you think about it or how you feel about it. One thing that we have opened the door for is to help people with their emotions. That is the reason why we have a phone number now. We have connection to counselors. We have connections to nonprofits that can help you during these times that you might not understand or accept. You can call us before you do anything that can hurt you or hurt anyone else, or just walk around mad inside. That's why I'm asking these questions and offering the telephone number to where you can call and we can connect you. But if you do have any concerns to anything that's going on with you, please call this number, 910-985-9090. That is a straight connection to Transition to Changes mission. And please make sure you leave your information and express yourself or express what you like to be put onto the show. We would probably try to fit that into a show that is not live. But if it's live, you can call in and be live on the show with us. But at this time, I'm just asking, how do you feel about that? I reverted back to my answer towards that. And that is, I feel kind of good about it. I feel good about it because it is a change. Change is needed at these times. And with change, it takes time to understand it and to embrace it.
Now, I got a question for you, because the theme is our determined democracy, forging a more perfect union. What is your definition of forging a perfect union?
That's a good question.
Write to us. tcmissionspeaks@gmail.com. What would you say is a perfect union? We already know a union is between how many people? 2, the president and the vice president. Well, she's an African American female and he's a Caucasian male.
Well, my answer to that is, I'm glad that it is a democracy that's set up in America to have a president and a vice president. And one of them reasons is, if something happened to the president, then the vice president will be able to step up.
Right. But how do you think the country would feel about an African American Asian female when we've never had a female president?
Well, I will express how I feel about it. And like I said, I think that change is good. And I do think this is the time for women. Yes, I said it. And the reason why I said that is during my research of time, the circle of time, I have realized time repeats itself. And with that said, I've been seeing the process of how time is changing towards women. I will express that I like change. Like I said before, change is good. But with women coming into power, like the Me Too movement, it being signs of more steps to lead to people to understand time is changing. Might be a slow process to some, but I have been sitting back seeing it.
Right.
I embrace it. That is one of the strongest things that I can express to anybody is to embrace or learn how to embrace change. Just like within seasons. When it get cold, you get jackets. When it comes to summertime, you put shorts on. You adapt to the weather. You can adapt to your environment and your surroundings. Now, of course, I think within this being the first female being elected to VP, I do think that can lead up to the first female being the president. That's showing a process. They give you a VP first, then they might give you a president. But it looks like it's hidden with this first black African-American, or she's black-skinned in color, VP. How do you feel about President Joe Biden being the president for the next 4 years? Do you think that it will be some changes? What do you feel about that? And myself, I do think it will be changes. I do think that things are turning the curve for the pandemic and president. And I think they putting the president inside the chair to change the atmosphere of energy of positivity. I looked at the last 4 years of President Trump. It has been a lot of controversial, a lot of negative things, a lot of distractions to pay attention to what's really going on. I feel like when President Joe Biden get in office, he will incite a change on positivity on many different topics, or with the main topic, this pandemic. And I feel like he could be a leader to lead the positive energy that will defeat the pandemic. I would think that it will be over within his 4 years of being the president.
In 8 years as vice president and 4 years as president, that's 12 years, high office. I think Joe got it. He can do it.
Yes, and that's what they say. The Democrats are for the people and Republicans are for the government. Or the government is one of them, I know. But I know that they try to show difference in different parties. And look like the more of Democrats is for the people. Some people is opinionated about.
And if you have anything you would like to add to our show, please write to us, tcmissionspeaks@gmail.com, and also visit our website at www.transitionalchangesmission.wordpress.com. Follow us on Anchor, Speaker, Spotify, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser. We love to have you as a follower, a subscriber to our movement.
So now stay in tune with us for the second half, man. This second half is talking about the current event. It might didn't happen on this Wednesday of this week that we are talking on, but it happened historically last week. The days before Friday, they announced that they was doing a protest march to D.C. A lot of things that a lot of people is feeling opinionated about, like this wouldn't have never happened if black people would have done it or any other minority color would have came to the Capitol, and people are feeling frustrated about that or expressing how biased the system is. But we did have a historical day happen that will be written down in that day for storming the Capitol. And that's what we're finna talk about on the second half, the storming of the Capitol. Wow.
And have a little bit of patience because we're going to get into some patience as well. Stick around.
And listen to this music to get you ready for this exciting second half. Thank you for tuning in with us at Transition.